Today, the subject of the final lineless study is this supposedly deformed skull I found on the creepy subreddit. Many of the comments say that it is photoshopped, and I am sad to say that I didn't realize this until I went to go and research this photo before finishing the video. Now that it has been said, however, the repeating textures and different colors on either side make it pretty clear. I still like the subject. It's kind of cool. I kind of look at it as an asymmetrical creature. At first, I drew a quick one, as you can see, to make a lot of quick and very dirty mistakes, which I could then look at, refer to, and avoid those mistakes in the final version. Even though, looking at it now, I can see that even what ended up being the final, it's obvious that I have a ways to go as far as strengthening my proportions especially. When I first decided on the 4 images I was going to do studies on, I tried to make different angles and sizes, and taking weird sections that I would separate from the rest in order to break myself from looking at the reference and breaking it down into simple icons, and rather focusing on the structure and form, with lighting, color, and smooth rendering being my second priority. I also have never done a skull study outright, which feels odd since I feel like I always see artists using that to draw from reference and learn from. I have certainly had past experience drawing skulls, but usually I do it for memory, and it's usually done for effect. I'll either be drawing kind of a creature, or a scary monster, or some sort of something that is creepy. At this point, I had gone too far with my experimentation, and I cut it, but I decided to just take a screenshot from the video I had recorded so far, and I overlaid it with a softer, darker version of the skull. Overall, this whole process was just me making things darker, then lightening areas, then darkening them, and just going back and forth with varying levels of lighting until I got fairly close to where I wanted to be. At this point, I was simply using the reference to fix my very messed up proportions, as I mentioned earlier, since I wasn't measuring them from the get-go, something which I hope to fix in the future. When I started the color process, I just started with a simple sepia filter, which got it an old bone kind of look, which was good. However, I still don't know how I made something as 3D as a skull, especially this particular skull. Even though it's photoshopped, it's extremely full of depth. Overall, I think it's just the contrast that they put on it to make these blacks so much blacker. It really made the flatness stand out. The coloring on this piece took the most time. A lot of that was not recorded, but I spent too long trying to figure out what was wrong with the colors, and knowing it is very likely that it was just because it's photoshopped. I feel better. However, I also feel extremely stupid for wasting so much time. Here's the process overall, though with a few of the different colors and the minute changes I made, until we arrive at this one, which I feel sort of fixed the depth problems. It's not perfect, but it looks a little bit less flat. This piece overall, I'm happy that I did it, even if it's not exactly my best work. It shows me my deepest flaws, and it gives me something to work against and get better with. Here is a bonus spooky edition of the skull that I threw together for fun after the very long process of making an absolute mess at times of this piece. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this, please check out my other videos and think about subscribing. Leave me a comment and I will be sure to respond. Thank you very much, and have a good rest of your day.